Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ Clifford, Juan Soto. Let's have some fun today. The Pro Bowl has been decided. It hasn't been officially released. The NFL is going to wait until tomorrow night, Wednesday night, to release the full list. But for a lot of teams that were playing yesterday and some other random teams, are like, all right, let's just announce it to try to boost, television ratings, give them something to bullshit about, etc.
Smart.
Yeah, right. Like, leak it out a little bit, get people talking. We'll go through the three guys who were voted into the Pro Bowl. We'll go into why no offensive players were voted into the Pro Bowl. And also, are there some guys that were snubbed? Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're adding more and more stuff every single week, every single month, doing more things, doing better things, different guests, different video ideas. There's just so much to get to with this Raider season that, like, literally we could do 10 videos a day and still not do every single thing that's been going on with the Raiders this season. So let's take a look at our Pro Bowl team. Denzel Perryman, linebacker, Maxx Crosby, and AJ Cole, punter. I mean, it's a weird, like, good and bad that you have that the Raiders have had a history of, like, amazing punters, especially recently. It's like, well, the offense hasn't been great for a big chunk of, the last couple decades, but in turn you get an amazing punter. Kind of three no-brainers, I feel like.
Yeah, these were pretty much locks.
Mm-hmm.
You have league leaders in categories that are some are pretty well known and others are, a little bit more obscure, like the Maxx Crosby. He doesn't lead the league in sacks, but he leads the league or just in the top three, at least in pressures.
Yeah. Pressures, quarterback hits. He's been kind of like, he was leading
one or two.
He was leading in both at one point. So it's kind of nice that even though statistically he hasn't had that crazy of a year, only 5 sacks, which is generally like the main thing that people look at with Pro Bowl voting with defensive ends. How many sacks do you have? It's the sexiest stat you can have as a defensive lineman. But it's cool that he was, like, it's understood how disruptive he is and how crucial he is to the offense or the defense without the very obvious sack totals.
Yeah. Perriman, again, he's either 1 or 2 now. I mean, he might be dropped out because he's been hurt the last couple games. But when he was on, he was leading the league in tackles.
He has 133 combined tackles. That's after missing a game. That's the most in the AFC.
Yeah, so, and he also, AJ Cole, he's, leading the league at punt average. So those are pretty no-brainers. And to be Pro Bowlers, I mean, you have to pretty much be, in the top handful of stats that matter for your position.
So let's go through one by one. Maxx Crosby, like I said, a constant disruption in the backfield, constant playmaker. His run defense has improved a lot this season, which was a lot better. I mean, last season, because he was so hurt and, like, kind of fresh out of rehab, kind of a weird transitionary season for him, like personal wise and professional, between the injuries and taking care of his addictions. You weren't really sure what we got, right? He had some good sacks, decent sack total last season.
And he had a torn labrum, dude. He was hurt.
Like, real hurt, right? Like, seriously hurt. But now this season, like, we're seeing him finally, the defense can't completely key on him because you got Yannick Ngakoue on the other side, right? So you got 2 guys you got to worry about: healthy, sober, 1 year better, 1 year stronger, 1 year more experienced. And like I said, again, I would love for him to have 14 sacks. He gets like 2 a game. That would be absolutely awesome and amazing. I'd be creaming my pants for Maxx Crosby. But I've always said it. I've said as long as the show's been around, sacks come and go and they come in waves. But if you give consistent pressures, if you're constantly disrupting, that is more sustainable than, just getting the random, like, 4-sack game, which is awesome. But I'd rather you be consistent for 17 games and hopefully the postseason than, like, oh, wow, he really showed out those 3 games this season.
Yeah, and with those consistent pressures, the sack numbers are going to come. He's still a young player. He's still young. He's still getting stronger. He's still learning the position in the NFL level. What you can't teach is what he has inside, that drive. Yeah. He doesn't slow down. no matter what quarter, no matter what play it is, how long he's been on the field, he doesn't slow down one bit. He keeps pushing. You can't teach that. And his technique will get better. He'll, pick up things here and there, and his sack totals are going to increase. But his effort, you really can't teach that. That's inside.
I also think part of it because a third of the Pro Bowl voting is fans, the other third is players, the other third is media. I think also the story behind him, I think, has caught people's eye too. That's obviously a big part of it, being a fan favorite, having a story that people, are important to them. Just all that he's overcome with his addiction, being so open and honest about it.
Yeah. Very transparent.
And just looks awesome, right? Just sleeved up in tats, super like animated on the field, all those little intangibles I think people like cling on to. And I think, gave him a couple bumps to go with his actual stellar play on the field.
Well, him being so open about his struggles kind of puts the spotlight on him, right? How is he going to perform? And he's always in the backfield. So it's like, okay, you keep seeing his number over. I mean, even if he has to make the play, you see his number flash in front of the screen a lot. This guy's around the ball a lot. This guy's in the backfield a lot. Okay, let's keep. You know what? That guy's pretty good. Let me take a look at his numbers. Sack numbers, okay, but whoa, he's leading the league in pressures. He's always hitting the quarterback. Like, wow, this guy's something different.
Speaking of his story, here's Max at the post-game presser yesterday after the Raiders beat the Browns. You tell me if this means a lot to him.
I was in rehab like almost 2 years ago, and now I'm in a Pro Bowl. Like, it's just a blessing, man. I show up, and I try to be the best teammate. I try to be the best teammate every day and show my guys that I care. And it's at home, man. It was it's special. It makes my family proud. My girl, everybody around me is calling, blowing up my phone. I'm like crying like a baby because I just know I've worked so hard, and it's starting to pay off. And Coach Marinelli, got to say something about him because he pushes me every day. Pushes me every day to be the best player I can be, and I want to kill him sometimes. He wants to kill me. But he just wants to see the best for me, and he knows what I want. I want to be the best in the league, and he pushes me to be that guy every day. And
so with some players, the Pro Bowl, people half-ass it. Some don't bother showing up. Sometimes it's just a pure popularity contest. Different people have different views on it. It meant a lot to Mad Max, you can tell.
Well, just to be acknowledged by, I mean, the fans are great, but his fellow players and coaches, like, they're acknowledging it. Hey, man, you're one of the best. Mm-hmm. You're really doing it. He's not like an alternate, like a player where that's not going to be named. Whenever they go to the Pro Bowl, they're an alternate because 10 other people don't want to go. This guy was voted in first time, first run. Like, he's in. He's voted in. He's not because 5 other people didn't want to go. And I mean, should we give him a negative for not shouting out his dogs?
I think if you just watch him on social media, it counts enough.
Those dogs are so sweet.
My wife follows like fighters, players, athletes based purely on their dogs.
On their animals, yeah.
Yeah. Alexander Gustafsson, one of her favorite fighters to follow is Alexander Gustafsson because like half his Instagram is just his pit bulls.
Yeah.
Everyone likes their things for whatever reason. Let's move on to Denzel Perryman. Talk about a freaking steal this offseason. My God. Decent 2-year contracts, nothing expensive. I think, what was it? We gave up a 6th for a 7th or 5th for a 6th, something like that.
We gave up a 5th. We got back a 6th and him. And we didn't have to pay his bonus this year. It was already paid for
Cha-ching!
by the Panthers.
Cha-ching! Thank you, Carolina. We'll send you a Christmas card. Carolina Panthers are definitely on the Christmas card list. We beat them in the opener last season. They gave us Denzel Perryman this offseason. They're like our best friend of the other 31 NFL teams. They've done us the most solid. 133 combined tackles, even after missing a game. That's the most in the AFC.
Yeah.
The most not just this. Not only is he playing great, he's playing better than he ever has in his career. The most tackles he's ever had in a season before this one, 73.
Wow.
He has 60 more tackles in a season that's not even done yet, in a season where he's missed a game. He's a machine.
Yeah, and
he's the team in tackles, obviously.
He is that heat-seeking missile that you need at the linebacker position because he sees it flash and he just goes. Yeah. He doesn't think. He sees it. He sees the flash. Boom. Okay, this is what I got to do on this play. I got to do this. This is my responsibility. Bang. And he's in there. He beats so many offensive linemen off of their stance. As soon as they lean one way to go block, he's beating them already. He's in the backfield. He's a freaking hammer, dude. He's a thumper. He goes in. He's what we wanted from Rolando McClain.
Yeah,
that's what we wanted him to be. That's what he was in college. This is what Denzel Perryman is in the pros.
Get this.
Blast from the past. Jesus, Rolando McClain.
Well, that's like how far back we have to go before we're even like excited about somebody.
Hitting that lean. Right? Hitting that lean now.
Well, this is the other thing is like, obviously, he came from the Chargers. And so he was in Gus Bradley's system. And I think that's the perfect example of an exact defensive coordinator and the exact player a player that fits the scheme and a scheme that fits the player perfectly. Right. Like some schemes are, no scheme is perfect. There's really no schemes that are just atrocious. There's players that fit, there's matchups that work. And he's just the perfect guy for Gus Bradley's system. Just be you, fly around, get to the ball, less think, more do.
You're our Mike. You focus on the box. That's it. Yep. We'll take care of the other shit. You focus on the box. That's you. Whatever, anything in here.
That was like me in college.
You worry about that.
I was very attentive. I just focused on the box. I was very, very giving to my girl. Very, very attentive. That's important. So not only is he going to the Pro Bowl, he is a Raiders linebacker going to the Pro Bowl. You know how rare that is? You know how rare that is to send a Raiders linebacker to the Pro Bowl? It's in the notes. Have you looked at it yet?
Yeah.
Don't look. You did? Okay.
I knew who it was. I didn't know the year, but I knew who it was.
So via Jimmy Durkin of The Athletic. Perryman is the first Raiders linebacker to make the Pro Bowl since Matt Millen. Yeah. Remember Matt Millen? I don't. I was 5 years old when he made the Pro Bowl in 1988. I was still wetting the bed when Matt Millen and a Raiders linebacker made it to the Pro Bowl.
And you're still wetting the bed when the next quarterback or the next linebacker.
By the time we get another linebacker, I'll be 60 and I'll be wetting my diapers the other way. Like that's something special, man.
That's full circle.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? It really does make a big difference when you have a focused game plan.
Yeah.
As opposed to here's my defense, we can run anything type of thing. That's just not the way the NFL is run anymore. It's all about matchups. It's all about players, not plays. And that's what Gunther was more. And I mean, and Gruden to a certain extent too. They're more about plays than players. No, you're the NFL nowadays is about players. It's about putting your players in these positions to win, putting your players and highlighting their attributes.
Yeah.
And Gus Bradley does have a system, but he does put those specific pieces in positions to succeed.
So, big move for him. And it's kind of like the opposite of like the Corey Littleton situation where like he thrived under the Rams system perfectly. The system plus having, Aaron Donald and those badasses in front of you, he can just be free. And then now like he just flopped under Gunther. He's flopping under Bradley. He's getting replaced by Divine Diablo, a rookie, after like a game and a half.
And it's not even close. Divine Diablo got on the field because Littleton was a little banged up, and you do exactly what you need to do as a rookie. When you hit that field, what did Tom Brady say? I got to ball out because I don't know when I'm going to be able to come back on the field.
Yeah,
I got Drew Bledsoe here, who's an all-everything quarterback. I got to do the best I can, or else when am I going to see the field again? Divine Diablo didn't see the field the entire year for 11 games.
Yep.
He finally gets in. He's like, hey, I'm not letting this go. Mm-hmm. And then Littleton not doing himself any favors, going in there and getting one fucking tackle.
The third guy going in, punter. Why not? AJ Cole got a big contract, got to the Pro Bowl. He's averaging over 50 yards a punt. That's the most in the NFL. And that's basically what you want. Can you flip the field for us on a regular basis?
And cause turnovers. That's what. Can you do that?
Oh, and who can forget?
Oh God, I want to see this.
Who can forget?
Yards per kick.
Oh, they got some kind of trick or something.
At the 10-yard line, Mike Hughes had gone back there after we saw Harvin, and Hughes.
Bam! Fumble by a
and the ball is loose
punter.
at midfield. Of course, each team signals they have it,
Oh, it's the best.
and they're going to signal
Fumble
that Kansas
caused
City
by
retains
Dylan
possession.
Stoner sighting. Dude, he was horizontal. He was like this.
Yeah.
Good for him. Yeah,
That was so clean.
Look,
That was beautiful.
when it's easy to be when you're a punter, and it's easy to vote for the Pro Bowl. Like, who's got the best average? This punter does. Sweet,
Done. Yeah.
he's in.
He's in, right?
Yeah,
It's not like one guy's like a fan favorite punter, you know? Like,
Yeah,
oh
we
man,
don't-
this guy's TikTok is fire. I'm going to vote him into the Pro Bowl. No,
Shane Leckler's hunting videos are sweet.
him in the hot dog eating contest with Sebastian Janikowski. Can't
Ooh,
miss.
bro. That's gonna be a good one. That would be a good one, honestly. I don't know who to win in that.
All right, so that is our Pro Bowl squad from the Raiders. So here's our question of the day. It'll be pinned in the comment section. Let us know what you think. This is the question of the day. Which Raiders deserve to go to the Pro Bowl that didn't? We sent 3. I don't think any of those are controversial. I remember last year when Josh Jacobs went, we're like, really? Okay, good for him. But I didn't see it. This year, it's like, all right, pretty strong case for all 3. So which Raiders deserve to the Pro Bowl that didn't? Let us know in the comment section. So here's a look at the votes. So the NFL released some of the votes. And here's the guys that went for the Raiders, courtesy of Josh Dubow from the Associated Press. So this is just who made the top 10 in the fan Pro Bowl voting. So this is just a very narrow window of it, right? Fan Pro Bowl voting, again, is just 1/3 of the votes. And this is just guys who made it into the top 10. But I think it's interesting just to kind of see what fans thought. So Yannick Ngakoue actually 1 spot higher than Maxx Crosby by the fans for defenseman. AJ Cole 5th. Darren Waller, despite a really slow season and a lot of injuries, still got 5th in fan voting. Daniel Carlson, same as AJ Cole, but Cole went to the Pro Bowl. Carlson didn't. Denzel Perryman real low at 6th. Very curious. I think it's also a testament that maybe he's not the flashy household name of other linebackers, but players and media are like, dude, look at his tackle numbers. Like,
yeah,
blowing everybody out of the
volume
water.
is crazy.
And I don't know if you've ever had an aneurysm on air before, Soto. Jonathan Abram, 10th in fan voting. I know you hate him, but I wonder how you feel about
I don't
that.
hate him. He's very good at what he does well, but what he does poorly, he's very, very bad at. Unfortunately, that's something that if you're a defensive back, you need to be good at if you want to be a starter. And he's very, very bad at it. But I think for him, it was just he probably does he still lead DBs and tackles? I think that's probably why he was as high as he was.
Yeah.
I think that might be just fans looking at stat sheets and not really looking at what he does poorly, which doesn't really come out on the stat sheets very much. But he has an insane tackle. If he were just to become average to slightly below average in coverage, this guy could be a cornerstone of your defense. He's that good in the box. If he can just become regular, like
not even extra crispy,
no,
just regular.
No, not even extra spicy hot sauce on it, just regular. If he can just become average in pass
no
coverage,
sour cream and onion,
no
cheesy
just regular,
nacho, just regular.
I'm talking regular, not even the sour, the salt, sea salt and vinegar, like just regular. If he becomes average, he could be a cornerstone. He could be. That's Cam Chancellor. If he becomes average in pass coverage, that's Cam Chancellor.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously what he's doing in the box and doing in run stopping, and even like short yardage passes, like coverage. He's good, like little unders and stop routes. He's covered those pretty well too. His tackling has gotten so much better than it was last season. Like he missed so many tackles. Yeah, he's kind of like
those tackles for loss against Chubb. He almost took the handoff.
Yeah,
And it's something very similar to Denzel Perryman, where okay, this is your responsibility on this play. He sees the flash and he knows exactly what the play is going to be, and he's in the backfield before Chubb even gets the handoff.
Yeah.
So he's very good, and and I don't know if you remember this, but what I said, one of the biggest jobs that Bradley has to do coming in is being able to find a position and a scheme to fit Jonathan Abrams' skill set.
Yeah.
And he has. The problem is when you have an equally smart, if not smarter, or more talented coach on the other side, he's able to scheme where he has to cover guys deep, and that's where he gets into trouble.
Well, a couple things on Abram. His coverage has improved drastically, right? At least now he's in position, just misses the ball, like still not good. But before he'd just be like, "Oh, the quarterback scrambling."
He wouldn't be in the picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna abandon coverage and just leave Travis Kelce wide open in the end zone.
At least he's in the frame.
At least he's there. At least he's like, and he's actually been in really good position for some of those bad passes. Like he was like right in Travis Kelce's hip pocket in the first Chiefs game. Like he was literally right there. One, it's Travis Kelce, like expecting a safety to like D him up. Like that's a tough task. At least he was in his hip pocket, right? So like, as long as he keeps trending in the right direction, I'm with you. Like I think he can be just a massive cornerstone guy in this defense. His attitude, the style of play. He's got to stay healthy. He's having an MRI in his shoulder, like literally today.
It didn't look good walking off the field, man. The way he was holding his arm. It didn't look good.
Was it the same shoulder that he hurt his rookie year too? See, if that's a persistent issue, that's a problem.
And the way he plays, having shoulder issues, that's not going to get better.
Yeah, he's got to leave with the crown of his helmet.
Yeah.
Save his shoulders a little bit. You know what I mean? Real form tackle.
Not to be simplify things and be Captain Obvious, but the best predictor of future injuries is previous injury history. That's the biggest predictor. And if you keep getting that same shoulder hurt, it's just not going to not get hurt later on in your career. It's going to be a persistent issue. So hopefully he stays healthy. Hopefully it's not that big a deal. Just got a stinger or something like that. I say it like it's just a stinger. No, it's just fucking hurt. But
it's crazy how the 3 first-round draft picks from that draft year when it was Clay Farrell, Josh Jacobs, and Jonathan Abram. Like you go to like a season and a half in, and you're like, oh, dude. Those first two, I think we can make it work, but Abram's just terrible. He's got to go. Now, he's the only guy we're even thinking maybe we'll give him the 5th-year option. Like Jacobs, Clay Farrell, 0% chance. Josh Jacobs, God, I hope not. And then Jonathan Abram, like, I think we found our box
better in coverage, man. Yeah. If it becomes average in coverage, that's Cam Chancellor. That's exactly who Cam Chancellor was. He got beat sometimes in coverage too, but he was a big hitter. And that's what Jamal Adams-ish. That's Jamal Adams-esque. Maybe Jamal Adams light.
Yeah.
But that's the same similar type of player. He just needs to get better at coverage.
So those are the guys that got top 10 in the votes. So who didn't make the Pro Bowl from our defense that you think should? I thought Casey Hayward started out super hot and maybe had a case to do it. But I think with cornerbacks, without having the sexy, without having the sexy, like multiple interceptions, a couple interceptions for a touchdown, like without those big he doesn't have sexy plays. He just shuts dudes down. Like guys don't even throw his way anymore, right? It's like he's one of those guys that gets underappreciated because offenses literally scheme around him.
I think Hobbs may have had a better chance than Hayward. I think towards the middle to the last part of the year, he's come on and to be playing the best out of our corners.
He's had some hype plays, right? Like big hits in the backfield.
Because the thing, it's not just coverage. It's not just coverage. He's good in run support, and he's a great blitzer too.
Especially at slot corner, right?
Yeah, he's very smart. And those slot corners, man, like you're going across the middle across all that junk and a lot of bodies and all that crap around the middle. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to cover the quick little slot guy.
Anyone else on the defense you thought should have got a better look? Yannick Ngakoue obviously got a lot of votes, but didn't quite squeak in. I think it's because Yannick's having a slower year compared to his normal, right? Like he's never had less than 8 sacks in a season. And so I think that's...
He's at 8 now, no?
I think, is he at exactly 8?
I think he's at 8 now. I'm double check. Keep talking. Talk amongst yourselves.
Jonathan Hankins a good run stopper, but there's a lot of really good run stoppers in the AFC.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of there's a lot of defensive tackles in the AFC that get a lot of sacks, and that's what's hurting Hankey. That's what's hurting Solomon Thomas, who's having a really good year.
Yep.
But yeah.
So yeah, I think there's certain like underappreciated guys that if they had better stories, maybe they'd get more votes. But yeah, maybe Yannick, Casey Hayward, I understand why not. But I think generally it was fair, the defense. But the real question is, nobody in the offense. Only Darren Waller even made top 10 in fan voting, and he had easily the worst year of his career as a Raider. Derek Carr's been elected to 3 Pro Bowls despite having the second most passing yards. He wasn't even close. Josh Jacobs went to the Pro Bowl last season. Not even close. Talked about Darren Waller. Hunter Renfrow. I think if the fan voting was a little later, he might have gotten a little bit more attention since he had like back-to-back 100-yard games. Like Hunter Renfrow proved that like with all of the Raiders' offensive weapons, like the running game going nowhere, Darren Waller hurt, Henry Ruggs going to jail, he proved that he could be, really step up. I don't think that gives you Pro Bowl voting when you're like, all right, we're down to our 4th option and he's doing pretty well. But Renfrow is a slot receiver. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, I mean, second leading in yards. That's one stat. Unfortunately, he's not very good at the other 2 stats that are big for quarterbacks, which he doesn't have a lot of touchdown passes, and he has way too many turnovers. If you're gonna have that many turnovers, he needs to have like double the touch. He needs to be like in the 30s in touchdowns. If you're gonna have that many turnovers and be a Pro Bowler, unfortunately, he's got what 19 now, 19 touchdowns, and I think like 14 turnovers
total, something like that.
Yeah, that's not very good. So that really hurt him. A couple of things that, I mean, and these aren't things that you really have to go far to find. It's like pretty surface stuff. He has a lot of yards, and his yards per attempt, they've gotten a lot better, but they're still not elite in the NFL. So that's why he has a lot of yardage. He throws the ball a lot, and but he still has to do it. So that's a very big positive for him. The negative, unfortunately, is the turnover to touchdown ratio is pretty out of whack, especially if you want to be in the Pro Bowl, unfortunately.
And the biggest thing hurting the Raiders is their record. Like it's so often Pro Bowl voters are just like, oh, this team has a great defense. Let's just grab 6 guys on their defense, right? Oh, this team's got an amazing winning record. Let's throw their quarterback in, right? It's like that's kind of how it's been, because Derek Carr statistically, I think in a lot of ways is better than he was in 2016 when he went to the Pro Bowl with 3rd MVP voting. But he was also 12-3, right? The Raiders were 12-3 until he got hurt, and that's a big part of it.
32 touchdowns and 4 interceptions that year too. I mean, so that was a very big gap in the touchdown to interception.
His weapons stayed healthy.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, you got to take a look at it from this perspective. Those weapons that he has now also has him the 2nd leading yards in the NFL. Yeah. It's not like he's throwing the ball to himself to get all the yardage, and he can't get guys for touchdowns. Like, no, it's let's say you can't use one for one and then take it away and make it a liability for the other. So he's still getting the yardage, so he still has weapons to throw to. It's just for whatever reason we're not getting into the end zone. And just a quick note, Yannick Ngakoue, my apologies, Yannick, you have 9 sacks.
Okay.
But he only has 26 tackles. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of tackles, so he's not playing the run very well, which Max has 5, but he has 50 tackles, around 50 tackles. So
more tackles for loss. Yeah,
more tackles for loss. Yeah.
And in all fairness to Unique, like we picked him up for exactly that reason. We're like, okay, we just desperately need someone to get in the quarterback's face. Just do that. Just do that. It's like, okay, fair enough. Be fast, be off the edge. You do you, Unique. You do you.
Get you some.
All right, so that's it for the Raiders going to the Pro Bowl in Las Vegas. So they'll be able to do like basically a home game, which would be kind of fun, right?
Yep,
Family and friends get to go. They probably would have preferred it was back in Hawaii. I think you'd rather be in Hawaii during your off weekend than at home. Is there one to say?
I love that song. What's your favorite Christmas song? Your favorite Christmas song?
Oh, Santa Baby.
Oh,
just like having like a super sexy slutty girl sing like a song about trying to have sex with Santa Claus. Oh,
I could just see you freaking tugging your shit.
Baby, that's like Marilyn Monroe doing like "Happy Birthday."
Oh my God,
Mr.
stop
President. But it's like that with I imagine just like a tiny, like smoking hot blonde chick doing it to Santa. Like, I got your cookies, Santa.
Oh
Give me your
shit!
milk. Yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
My favorite Christmas song is "It's gonna be a blue Christmas without you." Fucking
I don't know
Elvis,
what kills a
fucking dope.
boner more, me trying to sing sexy or you trying to sing like Elvis. I don't know.
I think I
They're
did
both
okay.
giant boner killers. Yeah.
I think I did all right.
All right, so we got 3 Pro Bowlers going this year. Pretty much as expected. No real surprises. No major snubs. A couple guys on the fence that cut either way. I'm kind of curious to see what the votes were like for media and the player votes and stuff. Just kind of, it's not a huge deal. I never go up in arms with Pro Bowl voting, but it is a real nice, just kind of snapshot into how people are viewed by different parts of the NFL public. And I'm glad we did. So we'll be back tomorrow with our real major show, our regular Wednesday show. We'll have the good, the bad, and the ugly from the big win in Cleveland. We'll break down the upcoming game against the Broncos, the Teddy Bridgewater-less Broncos, a chance to sweep the Broncos, which would be absolutely insane if we can get to 8-7, 2 games to go into the playoffs. And we're going to talk to Tape Don't Lie's BD Williams tomorrow as well. So really loaded show
friend of the program.
It'll be in podcast form and it'll be on YouTube as always. All right. But until then, knock on wood if you're with me.